male genitalia to have no more periods. I need male genitalia.
I have a hand, I have a gap. Oh, handicap.
Let me show you the real skin. Exactly like a real person. So delicate.
Add a little bit of salt on that onion budgie. And then, what's your favourite sauce on an Indian, guys?
Get the fuck out of there, you cunts! Fuck off, you cunts! Oh, because I wanted a different size! Fuck off!
My favourite career? None, cause I'm a lazy twat. My favourite fun fact? I can eat a pot noodle in 35 seconds.
Why are you looking at me like that then, eh? Yeah, keep your eyes to yourself, boy. I'll punch ya. One to the nose.
Barbie candy box?
I did a big fanny fart at the yoga class. A nice loud tromp, but not from my ass. Everyone looked around in such disbelief as I pumped out a massive fishy queef. As I stretched into a nice high lunge, a smelly aroma came out from my clunge. When I sat down into the lotus position, it smelled like someone had just been fishing. Oh, I did a big fanny fart at the...
Well, I'm shaking it like a leaf and I can't believe that I'm not crying my eyes out, but I've just had the most devastating news and I can't believe it. It's the strangest video that I've ever made. I met a fella on TikTok in February, chatted to him through February, March, met him in April. We met halfway, we live 160 miles away. We met halfway 3 or 4 weeks ago. Had 3 days together, 3 nights together, got on like an absolute house on fire. Everything was wonderful. Up until yesterday, everything was wonderful. He loved me. I loved him. We were going to conquer the distance between us. We were going to live together forever. We were soulmates. So yesterday, I went to the shop, I bought a load of food in because, he was coming this weekend. Guess what? I've just had a message from him. Just a message, not even the decency of a phone call. Just a message to say, oh, sorry, the distance is too much. I'm not coming. That's it.
Welcome to Blighty Blighted, your daily reminder that the last 5 years in the United Kingdom have felt less like real life and more like an episode of The Twilight Zone. Honestly, does anyone else feel like they've woken up in an alternative reality? Because I certainly do. I've lived through recessions, strikes, political rows, power cuts, and all sorts of national dramas. But the last 5 years, good grief. Every week seems to bring something stranger than the last. Rules changing overnight, prices doubling, people arguing about things that nobody even talked about 10 years ago. And somehow, we're all expected to pretend this is perfectly normal. If you'd explained modern Britain to me in 1985, I'd have assumed you'd escaped from a secure facility. The strange thing isn't just the cost of living. It's the feeling that common sense has become an endangered species. Simple things have become complicated. Complicated things have become impossible. And ordinary people are left standing there wondering what on earth happened. Then you've got social media, a machine specifically designed to make everyone angry, distracted or confused. 1 minute you're looking at holiday photos. The next you're watching two complete strangers having an argument about something neither of them understands.
Breaking news here in Batshit Bonkers, Britain, where the nation is in shock at the body cam footage of Henry Novak and his last moments. The police officers disregarded his pleas for help as he drowned in his own blood and proceeded to handcuff him, drag him across the floor, even as he was dying, reading him his last rites. The family of the Sikh man who stabbed him to death still had the nerve to disrupt court proceedings when Henry's family were in that room, and Hampshire police says it has serious questions to answer. Oh, I think it has a lot more than serious questions to answer. I'd like to know the names and see the faces of those police officers who acted like monsters in his last moment of need. The British police system needs a complete overhaul, and as it stands, white people are not safe on the streets of the UK because what your needs might be in your last moments will be disregarded by police officers who've been indoctrinated by DEI nonsense. In other news, Nicola Sturgeon says she never saw the camper van parked on her driveway. She never saw it. I mean, maybe it was hidden behind a salt and pepper shaker, or maybe she just isn't that good or at seeing things, or maybe she was too busy being a lesbian to look. We don't know. What we can say is that she said, too often women are blamed for the actions of men in their lives. Suddenly, Nicola Sturgeon, the ginger dwarf from the north, knows what a man and a woman is, who to thunk it. And finally, a third of the UK now recognises degrees are not worthwhile. They are simply governments and universities laundering debt through students. I'm so glad so many people are waking up. Young people deserve purpose, and they deserve fun, and they deserve freedom, and we will find a way to restore that to our good young souls. That's it, my darlings. Hang in there. It's Batshit Bonkers Britain.
Protect the Sikh family first. We can't have anything red. This is just a white bloke. Fuck him. And so he's lying there dying. I've been stabbed. And, I don't think you have, mate. And they're handcuffing him. As he's taken his last breath. The last thing he heard was this woke copper reading him his rights.
Have you ever come to notice how older people love to say that autism just didn't exist back in their day? But the gardens are very particular. Nothing's out of place and the grass is cut to exactly 1.6 centimetres because it's optimum for growth. And they have a collection of a random item all throughout the house that isn't usable, so it's not practical in any way. My grandparents love spoons. They're not autistic though. Oh, and God forbid they missed a programme that they've been waiting all day to watch, which is on every day at the same time. It's almost like they've got a routine. Not autistic though, which I find a bit weird.
Guys, we genuinely can't say that white lives matter anymore. Please watch this. So as you can see, I type in Black Lives Matter and it comes off. Then I type in Asian Lives Matter and again videos come up. Now watch what happens when I type in White Lives Matter. Watch what happens. What the fuck is going on?
Shame on you! 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 All of you! Did you know him? Have you all been trained to kill white boys, have you? Listen to this! You did that! Every single one of you! Look! Any man of us stands up and lay on the ground saying that... You all been trained the same, have you? Kill white Danny's way. That's where they live.
So we just finished with CB15 and we decided to come over to Glendale, well, Peoria, where we used to live at. And years and years ago, when Greg was in the Air Force, we came to this Harkins Theater, and this was our favorite. This was our date night. This was our relaxing time, and they had
anything we could afford.
They had my favorite popcorn, so I'm so excited to be back here and just reliving some of the fun that we did.
So here is a video that is absolutely guaranteed to upset and piss off a huge number of people in probably the under 40 category, the under 40 age group. So here is my opening line. Are many, loads of modern day younger parents shit, lazy, delinquent parents? Yes is my answer. Yes, they are. Yes, undoubtedly they are. And I know you're going to take umbrage with that. I know you're going to be upset by that. But it's bloody true. Just watched a news item interviewing a load of teachers talking about start of school, reception year, starting children who are generally speaking aged 4. That's the main age group. And this teacher was saying how it had changed over the 30 years that she's been in teaching, and how children are coming to school now, kids are coming to school at the age of 4, lots and lots of them without the most basic of life skills. Loads of them are not potty trained, not toilet trained, still wearing nappies at age 4, don't know how to take care of themselves, are pretty much basically incontinent. Teachers are spending, of that age group, on average, over an hour to an hour and 20 minutes every single day taking care of toilet incidents and toilet accidents and changing underwear. Over an hour of teaching time every day, just sorting kids out who can't take themselves to the loo properly. 26% apparently of children who start a reception at school are not toilet trained. 26% by the age of 4. What are you doing, parents? That's one of the most basic jobs you've got. Teach your kids how to use the bloody loo. And yes, I'm aware that there will be a small percentage of children that have issues. They might have learning difficulties, they might have special educational needs, but it ain't 26% who can't teach themselves how to go to the loo or take themselves to the loo. Loads of other kids don't know how to clean their teeth. Don't clean their teeth properly. Teachers notice that their teeth are rotten. Ask them whether they know how to clean their teeth. They don't clean their teeth, don't know how to clean their teeth. Many kids can't use a knife and fork. What? Or spoon. Can't use cutlery, just use their fingers to feed themselves at age 4. Many kids just don't communicate properly. This is all coming out in this report. When I say don't communicate, just can't really verbalise themselves. Don't really understand how to have a discussion. And again, I'm not including the kids that fall into certain educational needs categories or special educational needs. Of course, you're going to get those kids. These are not kids that have those special educational needs. They've just been so badly brought up at home that they don't know how to have a conversation. I would imagine that from age 18 months, they're given some sort of a tablet or a phone or a laptop or an iPad and left to get on with it. And they don't actually have conversations with anyone. Loads of kids apparently don't know basic things like colours, any numbers or any letters at age 4. Now, I'm not expecting them to be able to read the works of Shakespeare at age 4, but they should know the difference between red and blue. They should be able to say, that's a number 1, that's a number 4, for example. What are these parents doing? If you are such a terrible person, such a terrible adult, that you can't give your kids these most basic of skills, you shouldn't be a parent. It's as simple as that. And I'm not going to apologise, because if you fall into this category, then there's something wrong with you. And I don't care what your excuses are. You have no excuse. Zero, zilch, none. You're a rubbish parent. You're a rubbish adult. You've failed at life. It's as simple as that. So yes, I'm aware I'm going to upset a load of people. And yes, I'm probably going to get a few of those, oh, it's all right for you, boomer. I get called a boomer all the time. I don't know what a fucking boomer is. But I get called that all the time. But I'm going to state my case and state it clearly. people of my age group were and are better parents than people in their 20s and 30s now. Of course, there are loads and loads and loads of exceptions to that. There's probably hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of brilliant parents in that younger age group. But as an entirety, as a whole age group, people in their 50s and 60s were better parents than people who are now in their 20s and 30s. Fucking cast iron guarantee of that. And what's going on in schools is the proof of that. And if you ask any teacher that's been a teacher for anything longer than 20 years, they would confirm it. So what's going on? What's happening? And the problem with that is that these children who are now 4, 5, 8, 10, 12, 14, who have been raised badly in this way, will then have children themselves. And they will believe that's the normal way of doing things. They will believe that's just what you do as a parent. And so they will be bad parents as well. Some will go, God, my childhood was terrible. I'm going to make sure that when I have children, I do things right. But a lot won't, because they just don't recognise that there's anything different to do. And so they will raise their children badly as well. So it's an ever downward spiral. And it comes back to what I think is one of the biggest faults across the whole of society, and why we are struggling as a society. It's responsibility, it's sense of responsibility, it's doing the right thing, it's putting others before yourself, it's putting others' needs, i.e. your children's needs, before yourself. It's recognising that life is difficult and it can't be about smiles and good fun all the time. And a lot of the time you have to do the things that actually are a little bit arduous, a little bit time consuming, a little bit difficult. And raising children is arduous, time consuming, difficult. It's also the greatest pleasure on earth. My kids are 21 and 18. If I could wind back to them being 4, 5, 6 again, I'd do it tomorrow like a shot. I loved every single minute of it. And I would happily sacrifice those years again to do it all again. But most parents don't want to sacrifice 10 minutes, let alone 2 decades. So yes, I know this video is going to upset a load of people, but yes, there's a load of shit, lazy, delinquent parents out there, and I'm not apologising for it.
Which turns out to be the last rites. The family are very gracious and saying, look, please don't make this into a thing, we want to grieve privately. Yes, you want to grieve privately. But people are going to take the streets. People have had enough. I said ages ago that the word around the campfire was, I've been reading things, there's going to be a civil war, there's going to be this, there's going to be that, there's going to be that. And so they take to the streets. They take to the streets of Southampton last night, 6 o'clock. I saw it on the news, on the internet-y thing. Well, let's meet up in Southampton to protest this. What were they protesting? Not the Sikhs, not the fact that it was a racial murder. We don't know the reason of the murder. We've not been told. We're just the public. But the fact that the police chose to put a racial slur in front of a murder. It was more important to protect the people who've had this racist thing done to them, allegedly, than this poor man losing his life, drowning in his own blood, where 2 police officers were there basically handcuffing him and taking him away. What are we going to do about it, eh? Kemi Badenoch, the Conservative leader, she has said, this reminds me of the Stephen Lawrence murder. Kemi, it doesn't. Stephen Lawrence was murdered 33 years ago in a street, 2 streets from where I grew up. I knew the people that were allegedly involved or were involved. This is not. This is different. This is someone being stabbed to death. Kemi, it's not the same. People are protesting because we have had enough. We've had enough of getting in a cab and having the driver hating you because you're white. We've had enough of our children being murdered in racially motivated things. Lee Rigby, was there enough done about that? No. We don't mention it because we're all brainwashed, and we know the police are on side of the minorities in this country. And the minorities, if we're not careful, will soon be the majority, because all us white people will either leave or we'll be dead. Keir Starmer, are you going to take the knee? What's happened to the Lib Deb? I ain't heard him, Ed Davey. Where's he gone? And as for the Greens, they're probably still dancing around Stonehenge, which is a replica of their leader's teeth. No, we need to do something. And the only way we can do it is to protest. And that's what those people were doing. They were also showing solidarity. And of course the police turn up. You know, not only can they not save a man's life who's dying, and they were cuffing him, they now do what they do best. Put the helmets on and start a fight with the protesters. And so the protesters get so wound up, they overreact. And the police say, well, there you go. The policing minister, Sarah someone or other, she said two people were arrested last night at the demonstrations, etc., etc. And we don't think that people should behave towards the police like this. Well, let me tell you, Minister, I don't think the police should behave in the way they are for people like us. It's not safe to walk the streets. It's not safe. It isn't. Keir Starmer, you're going to take the knee for Henry the Last? Kemi, what are you going to do? Nigel Farage, he stuck his head above the parapet and has been slagged off. He's stirring up racial hatred. He's stirring up...
My mother-in-law slapped my severely autistic 8-year-old son so hard around the face that she left her handprint. And now I'm going to do everything within my power to make sure she is never allowed near any of her grandchildren ever again. So for the first time in 8 years, we asked her to babysit our son because I had a very, very minor operation, but something that I'd been waiting for a very long time. And my husband had to drive me home after I couldn't drive. So we asked her for the first time ever. This operation, by the way, takes under an hour. So she would have our son for under 2 hours max. It would be 2 hours max. And she said yes. She seemed excited. Everything seemed like it was going to be fine. And then we turned up, and my son's 3 cousins were there. She had invited them over for the occasion, which is great. In an ideal world, that would be, you know, perfect, having them all there together. But realistically, 1 adult to 3 children, one of those children being severely autistic, doesn't quite make sense. So then I didn't want to go. I was freaked out straight away. I knew this was a terrible idea, but my husband had said to me, we've been waiting so long for your operation that you have to do this. It's going to be fine. 2 hours max. What could possibly go wrong? We get 10 minutes down the road. 10 minutes. And he gets a call from his mum saying, come back and get your feral child. He's gone crazy. So we spin that car around and we race straight back there. And when I turn up, my son is sitting under her kitchen table crying with a red handprint on his face. Turns out what had happened is he'd picked up one of his younger cousin's toys. Something you should know about my son is he has a blanket and a teddy, and you cannot take those toys away from him. They are his safety. They have been with him since he was a baby, and anybody who has an autistic child knows that they cling on to something. It is so important to him. So what's happened is he's picked up a toy of one of his younger cousins. He's a child. She doesn't understand autism. It's not her fault at all. She's thinking, you play with my toy, I play with your toy. So she's gone to take his toy. He's pulled back. My mother-in-law has then got involved and told him that he needs to learn how to share. And I know this because she also said the same to us, that we haven't taught him how to share. So she was going to do it. He tried to take his teddy away from him and he pulled back again. So she carried on going. She ripped his teddy from his hands and then he lashed out. And let me tell you something about my son is it's not intentional and it's not personal. He will never lash out to purposely hurt somebody. But if you're in his way when he lashes out, you will get hurt. So she was slapped in the stomach by him whilst he's lashing out, because she tried to take away something that was so important to him, rather than just take back his cousin's toy and give it back to her, which he wouldn't have had a problem with because he doesn't care about any other toys. You know, you can give him something, take it away, it's absolutely fine, but not his blanket and not his teddy. And she knows this. She knows this because we've told her this. She knows this because he's been in his life. She's been in his life for 8 years. And yes, they haven't been alone, but she's been around us for 8 years. She has never once witnessed us take them away from him because we don't. We never would. So he's lashed out. And in retaliation, this full-grown woman has slapped my 8-year-old son so hard round the face. And yes, I absolutely wanted to slap her back round the face then and there because that would have felt amazing. That was exactly what I wanted to do. But instead, I've called the police and I've called social services, and I vow to be my son's voice. I vow to do everything within my power to make sure that this woman doesn't get to be alone with any of her grandchildren ever again. And now I know how much she loves all of her non-feral grandchildren, so I think that would be a very apt punishment for her.
In every silence, I can see.
Right, slags, fess up. Yeah? Which one of you absolute rampant little bean flickers is this about? Because you've not found a more suitable instrument to cool down your internal temperature than a fucking ice lolly. I think we all just need to remind ourselves in this moment of the appropriate use of an ice lolly, okay? It is for one set of lips only. So that means no twisters in your twat, yeah? No Calippos up your clunge. And certainly no magnums in the minge, because you know what that's asking for, sweetheart? Yes, a trip to A&E, quite potentially, but also probably one of the most violent episodes of thrush / or bacterial vaginosis that has ever hit your flaps. All right, so listen to me. Not that I know from experience, but I can project.
I don't think it's a good idea to shove an ice lolly up your fanny. All right. Oh, okay, bye.
Officer, I've just been mugged. I don't think you have, mate. Yeah, you're right. I've just probably dropped it into his hands.
Officer, he's strangling me.
No, I don't think he is, mate. Oh yeah, you're right. He's probably just cuddling my neck. Hello? Yeah, I need the police.
What's your emergency?
Someone just nicked my car.
No, they didn't.
Yeah, you're probably right. He's probably just borrowing it whilst he's knackered. Hello, I'd like to report a kidnapping. No, I don't think you do. Yeah, you're probably right. Yeah, they'll just give me somewhere to live for a few years. Hello? I think I need the police. I'm being robbed.
I don't think you are, mate.
Yeah, you're probably right. They're just rearranging my shit.
How many illegal migrants have absconded or gone missing from Home Office accommodation in the past 5 years? Do you know the answer to that?
There is this was something that was looked into by the ICIBI recently, and in due course that report will be published.
So I'll take it you don't know that. So,
well,
frankly, it's unbelievable, Permanent Secretary, because you don't hold this data. I mean, I don't know why not. Is it ideological? Is it incompetence? I mean, why don't we hold it? I mean, the British people want this data.
Sorry, but
hang on, can I just finish? The British people want this data. They want to know the impact these illegal men are having on their police force's capabilities. How can you claim to be improving productivity when police forces are being loaded with immigration tasks you don't measure, you don't report, and you can't quantify? So will you commit to publishing more of this data?
I think it's been a misunderstanding about the answer to my question. I wasn't saying I didn't know the answer. I was saying there has been a report, and the report will be published in due course.
There's always a report. It's always going to be published in due course. We keep hearing this from the civil service, and frankly, it's not good enough.
It's not my decision on when and whether the report is published.
It's your decision.
It's not my decision.
Okay, well, there are always reports we're waiting for.
The Speaker pointed out that, despite being commissioned around 8 months ago, the report has still not been published. He argued that the continued delay raises legitimate questions about transparency and why the public is still waiting for information that many believe is in the public interest.
I had a look at your profile, Dame Antonia, and I'm not a great man on doing research, but it didn't take me very long to find out that many in Whitehall and the media call you the Queen of Woke. I mean, do you actually recognise that title?
I'm not convinced that anybody in Whitehall has called me that.
But it's driven, I think, by your championing of and proactive implementation of high-paying DEI roles within the civil service. So I had a quick look.
I'm sorry to interrupt you. I don't know what you're referring to.
Well,
my championing of what?
This is if you dispute that this is what the media.
I don't know if I've understood.
This is what the media reported. But if I go on my question, I think you'll understand. So I had a quick look, and in 21-2, the police forces spent 15 million on DEI, and there were 147 DEI officers. Whether they're highly paid or lowly paid, I leave that to everybody to judge.
The Speaker argued that it is shocking that the authorities still cannot provide clear figures on the number of missing individuals. He suggested that either the numbers are unknown, or the evidence is being ignored because it is politically inconvenient. According to him, the response given revealed where the other side's priorities truly lie.
In 23-4, there are 197. So the DEI virus is growing within the police force. So are you championing the growth of these DEI roles? That's my first question, quite apart from the fact it's costing a lot of money. And my second question, because I get a lot of policemen coming to see me in my constituency in Great Yarmouth, these are operational policemen, who are very frustrated by this DEI nonsense. No, but Geoffrey, this is quite important because they come to see me because they think the police are being made less efficient by the cant that's coming from the top of the police force, which clearly is coming from somewhere. So my question is, does it make them operationally less efficient? And I then got in a moment an observation on procurement. But those were my two questions.
To whom is your question?
Well, are you driving the DEI agenda within the police force?
I think there might be a misunderstanding about the extent to which I determine who works on what in police forces.
Well, is it coming? It comes from the top, Dame Antonia. The culture comes from the top.
No. The decision about what resources work on what in police forces are a matter for the forces.
So are you keen to see more DEI implemented throughout the police?
I don't. That's not. I don't see that's not a relevant question. I mean, I'm sure the chair is going to want to intervene at this point.
It's costing money, and it's also arguably making the police less efficient.
The Speaker criticised what he saw as misplaced priorities, arguing that while officials were producing regular reports on diversity and inclusion initiatives, authorities still could not provide a clear figure for the number of asylum seekers who had gone missing. He claimed that issues should have received far greater attention and accountability.
Asking that question.
My job is to allocate funding to the forces, and therefore, and obviously in support of the Home Secretary, and therefore ensure the police are delivering. That's why we're here, that's why we're doing all this work. I don't recognise the thing you said at the opening of your thing about something I was meant to have championed. I don't know where that's come from.
You're not driving the DEI agenda. Is there an active DEI agenda being promoted within the police force?
Well, this is getting on towards policy.
Well, not really, because I think it does affect the operational.
The Speaker suggested that one reason she avoided answering the question was because of her involvement in various DEI initiatives. He claimed that once viewers saw some of the policies and programs she had supported, they would better understand the criticism being directed at her, especially given her later appointment to a senior civil service role. The Speaker argued that the real question is why the government appears more focused on diversity and inclusion policies than on public safety and accountability. He expressed frustration that authorities could not provide clear figures on missing asylum seekers whilst
I have just been refused access into Wetherspoons because I have a guide dog. I am livid, I'm shaking. Bearing in mind, I broke my back in January, and this was the first day that I had taken my guide dog out in harness. My partner was with me, we'd gone for breakfast before we were going to go for a walk to help to build my confidence. Walked in there, sat down at the table, attempting to read my menu with my new meta glasses. The manager came over and she said, "Excuse me, have you got your card?" I was like, "Are you talking to me?" She was like, "Yes, have you got your card?" I was like, "What card?" She said, "Registration card to say that you're a service dog user." Do you know, you're just really taken aback. I was like, "Are you joking?" She said, "No, I'm not. It's policy that we need to ask you to provide evidence that you are a service dog user." I said, "I've got my guide dog laid at my feet in a full harness. Why would you need a card?" She's like, "Well, it's our policy. We have to ask, and we can't serve you. You can't come in unless you can provide evidence that she is a genuine working dog." I'm not joking. She was laid there at my feet beside the table, in between the table and the window. Nobody could see her. She's the smallest yellow lab you could ever meet. Full Guide Dogs UK working harness on, behaving a hell of a lot better than half the humans in there. I said, "I'm sorry, I do not have one with me. I have been a guide dog owner for 14 years, and in the 14 years, I have never once been asked to present this registration card." And she was like, "Well, you're going to have to." I said, "Well, I'm sorry, I don't have it with me." And by this point, I was pretty upset. And she wasn't going to let us order and eat in there until I'd presented the card. So I said, "Look, I'm going." I said, "I'm going to take this further. I'm going." Her attitude was absolutely disgusting. There was no understanding in her tone. She hadn't considered the difficulties and the struggle that I could have had to get to Wetherspoons in the first place, to find a chair, to sit down, to struggle accessing the menu only for a member of staff to come over and say, "Sorry, you can't eat in here." Because
Civilization appears to have outsourced its thinking to comment sections. Town centres feel different. People seem more stressed. Everyone's rushing somewhere. Nobody looks particularly happy when they get there. And through it all, prices keep climbing while standards seem to be heading in the opposite direction. It's like living in a country where the software update went badly wrong. Back in the old days, Britain had its problems. Of course it did. But there was a feeling that reality was broadly recognizable. Now half the population spends its time wondering whether they're losing their minds. The other half are too busy scrolling to notice. We're living through a period where the headlines sound made up and the bills sound criminal. Maybe that's why so many people feel unsettled, not because everything is terrible, but because so much of it feels strange, disconnected, unfamiliar. Like we're all extras in a program nobody remembers signing up for. The United Kingdom isn't finished yet, but I do sometimes feel like somebody changed the script without telling the audience. Cheerio, and I will see you all in the next video.